Of course, we've all seen the news. It's Cain Velasquez. What happened last week? I could not believe it. You mentioned a busy week. I had to go into Vegas on Wednesday, do fighter meetings because I got called in for commentary last minute again. And then I had to interview some people for BT Sport, Masvidal and Colby. We're going to get to that later. Then I had to fly to Rogan's, Austin, for the Rogan podcast on Thursday. Then I had to get back, do the Wayne Show Friday, commentate. Yes, very, very busy. And throughout that week, just more things started unfolding about this Cain Velasquez case. It is fucking awful. I mean, Anthony, you've got what, 4 daughters?
4 daughters, yeah.
And was it his daughter before I continue?
I believe so. I don't think like publicly they've just been saying young relative, but I think it's because the child's a minor but from what I understand, kind of in our circle, it sounds like it's his daughter.
I mean, normally we like to start the show with a little bit of upbeat, high, jovial hijinks.
Right.
This is anything but that. It is not a laughing situation. It's fucking awful. It's terrible. I feel for him so badly. So obviously, I think I don't even want to say the words because Rogan was talking about this when I went on the podcast the other day, and I kind of clammed up. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like I don't even want to. Yeah, it's really uncomfortable. But I guess I saw today that he's been denied bail. I mean, listen, the guy apparently, what was it? 100 times is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I'm hearing 100 different instances. Like, holy fuck! I mean, it's one of these situations where you got to kind of tiptoe around it a little bit because I don't want to be the person that says that I'm pro vigilante. You know what I mean? I'm not all about. People shouldn't be taking the law into their own hands. But
bro, you've got a shotgun in the back seat of your car. You're fucking using that. I swear to God.
100%. I will promise you that if I was in those shoes, I would have done the exact same thing. At least that's my feeling about it. You know what I mean? I don't think that people that do those kind of things should be allowed to live with the rest of us.
No.
There's robbers, there's thieves and all these other crimes that people commit. You can come back from that stuff. You can get a second chance. You can change your life around. You can't come back from that shit. So as a father, I can't imagine how helpless you would feel, like knowing that you took your child to this place every single day, and then that's where it happened, like at this daycare center or whatever. It's got to be a helpless feeling, and I feel so fucking bad for Cain Velasquez and his family. I can't even put it into words how bad I feel for him.
No, I know. And the man's just being a father. I mean, that's his duty as a father, I would say. And I know that might shock some people, but 100 fucking times. You find out about this, and then he gets arrested. Hope I'm not getting anything wrong here, but I believe he was taken into custody, but then he got bail a couple of days later. And then that's when Cain fucking flipped out and went chasing him down the freeway, I believe, for 11 miles, taking shots. Sad thing was that he never hit the actual guy. He hit the guy's father, you know, but.
Which I'm sure Cain feels bad about. Like, I'm sure that I mean, that's not his goal. But what kind of fucked up world do we live in where that guy's walking the streets and Cain Velasquez isn't?
This is what I'm talking about.
I'm not saying Cain needs to be free. Like, I'm positive that he went into that situation knowing, like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to jail and I'm good with that. And I feel like that's how I would be. Like, this is the consequence.
You think he did? You think he knew he was going to go to jail? Or I would think that he was going through a moment of temporary insanity. And one would say that would be his defense as well, because fuck me, you find that out, you are going to be temporarily insane. I mean, look at there's crimes of passion, isn't there? Sometimes you can get off of that if you walk in and you find your wife or something with another man and you stab the guy or whatever. You know, you can say a crime of passion. I didn't know what I was doing, and that stands up in court. Sometimes I guess it has to be extreme. I would say this fits that, and I certainly would say it would make me temporarily insane. I mean, Jesus Christ. Rebecca brings the coffee in without sugar in it, and I'm fucking going out of my mind. I catch fucking someone doing that. Do you know what I mean? Right. God knows what's going to happen.
Well, and I think that I hope that that's the direction they go. I hope that his previous history of being just a good goddamn dude. I've never heard a bad thing about Cain Velasquez ever. I've never heard one negative thing about him. Every interaction I've had, although there's not that many, because he is very quiet, keeps to himself. He's not out and about. You don't see him a lot. they've all been positive. He's been nothing but a gentleman around me and to me. So that's got to help his case a little bit to know like this isn't the type of guy that just goes out popping shots at random people. This is an overwhelmingly different circumstance. So, but if that was me, even if I knew exactly what I was doing, I'd probably be okay with it and just say, like I'm going to go do this because this is what I have to do, and I'll take my licks at the end of it. But I'm sure he wasn't meaning to hit the wrong person, but fuck, at that end, at that point, what do you do? Like the rage and the red that you would have to be seeing at that point? It's
well, I'm sure he never set out that to shoot the guy's father. You know, exactly. I mean, that's just the way it fucking works. Apparently stepdad, and who knows, apparently stepdad owned the daycare place. Mm-hmm. And for this guy to be doing that, he's going to be fucked up in the head. So who knows, maybe his father did it to him. I don't care. It doesn't make it right. It's not an excuse. I do not give a shit. That sucks for him. But you don't fucking do that to my daughter or family member, whatever it is. Definitely character references will be taken into consideration. But we were just saying at first, somebody donated $1 million to him to help defend his lawsuit. Harrington, is that correct? Show yourself under these dubious circumstances. Thank God you dressed not like a pedophile, because sometimes you do dress like a pedophile.
Yeah, no, that would be uncouth for this episode to say.
100%. This is a very depressing, but we got to talk about this. This is a big story in the MMA world. 100%.
Of course. So the only facts I have so far is that as you said, the guy was given a $0 bail, allowed to walk the streets. I think a day after he got arrested. Yeah, Cain did the chased him down. You nailed all that stuff. I think Brian was the one who had told us earlier that somebody had raised $1 million. I know a lot of people popped up on social media over the weekend, setting up GoFundMe's and links, and committing to match donations from followers, for his legal defense.
That says everything about his character that you need to know. You don't see don't see people in this sport coming out of the woodwork to help anybody like that. I think that says a lot about not only his character and how people feel about him and what they think about him, but I think that says just as much about how despicable the crime is. You know what I mean? About how people really feel about people that do that to kids and people that are can't protect themselves. I don't know why. I just feel like this is going to work out though. Is he going to do some time? For sure. He's got a lot of charges on him right now. I know from experience and a lot of people around me that typically when they tack a bunch of charges on one person, it's usually a good sign that the prosecutors are willing to wheel and deal a little bit. He has no, from what I understand, he doesn't really have a previous history. He's a good dude. It was crazy circumstances. This isn't the type of dude that you have to worry about. He's not, even when they denied his bail, they said because the overwhelming threat of him being free, it's just to one person. That's the thing. It's to one person.
Correct.
It's so weird to me that like they're making it like, the judge kind of made it seem like, oh, he's this huge threat to society. He's not. He's a threat to one guy.
Well, I think when you look at those pictures of him when he's getting taken into custody and he's got like the prison stuff on and he's got the mask, he looks like a bad guy out of fucking Batman or something. Do you know what I mean?
He looks like he belongs in jail.
Yeah, no, he does. He looks like no one's going to fuck with him.
Yeah, if you don't know.
No one's going to fuck with him in prison, that's for sure. When he gets in, he's having top bunk, bottom bunk, whichever bunk he wants, and he's going to have a nice little bitch. Listen, if he wants to go down that route, he's going to have no problem. But I am surprised that he got bailed. This guy, this piece of shit, this garbage human being, got bail as quickly as he did, or was let out to walk the streets. Because, from my understanding, and I'm trying to steer a little bit away from what we're talking about here, is that generally what I hear, the penalties in the States are way tougher than the UK. Which some I like, some I don't like. You hear about people spending their life in prison for minor drug offenses and stuff like that. That's kind of crazy. But I would have, because in the UK there's a lot of this. I say a lot of this shit. There's just as much shit as this goes on, but they don't get punished too much. As you said, somebody like this, you don't get better. They should be life in prison, or round them all up, stick them on a fucking island. There you go, fend for yourself, because you're not coming back into our fucking society. Generally, I thought in the States, something like this, you are looking at a severely harsh sentencing. Brian, just quickly while Anthony chimes in, just look up average punishment or whatever for, I don't know. I don't even want to say the words.
I know. I don't think we have to. Everyone knows what we're talking about. So
yeah. Just look that up, Brian. See if you can find any information.
It's a weird deal, man. Like sometimes you see these people and they just get off with like a slap on the wrist sometimes, and then sometimes it's the punishments are insane, and who knows? It's really early in both cases, from what I understand. Like I don't think all that happened. Like even like that initial piece of shit guy getting arrested, but I don't think that was long before Cain shot at him. So, I don't know. I guess we got to let the system play out, but I think the fact that this is getting so much publicity because of what Cain did, I think is only going to hurt that guy when it comes time to court.
I just don't think how anybody, but everyone's going to sympathize with him. It will hurt him. Go on, Brian. I can see you just dying to chime in there.
This is not enough. It says there's a mandatory minimum of 7 years, and I think it should be a mandatory minimum of a firing line.
Yeah, no, it should be. It should be a mandate. Yeah, no, it should be death. I have no problem if they can 100% prove it. And that is the issue with the death penalty, because sometimes you hear about innocent parties being executed and whatnot. But if they could definitely prove it, that's it. Bullet in the fucking head.
I did buy a couple free Cain shirts though.
Oh, you did? Where does one buy one? I'm going to buy one of those as well.
Yeah, I bought 3 Derek Brunson on his website.
Free Cain.
We will put the link in this episode's description.
Good man, perfect. Brian. Absolutely.
Yeah. The least we can do. If you go to Derek Brunson's Twitter, he's already cut like a pretty decent sized check to Cain's wife. It's like 2 days he raised $10,000 or something for.
Oh, was it Derek Brunson that put this together?
Yeah. It's off of his own personal website. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. I didn't see that. So shit, we should have got Derek Brunson on, because that's amazing.
Shout out Derek Brunson. So he even got like the big, huge cardboard checks or whatever, and he posted a picture of it. And he's kind of nice. At the very beginning, he took some shit too, because of course people come out of the woodwork like vigilantism isn't the way and whatever, but he doesn't give a shit. And I love it.
Bro, anyone puts their hands on my child, I'm going to turn into a vigilante. And if you do that, if you do that heinous, disgusting, unthinkable, so bad that I don't even want to say it crime, if you do that to one of my children, fucking get on your bike, son. You better run. And I'm not trying to sound tough, and you're the same way. And look at Cain Velasquez. It's just insane. Harrington, what would you do?
I mean, I think it goes without saying exactly, what Cain Velasquez was doing. The only, advice I've heard, or like thing I've heard that would have made sense, would be to just run the car off the road so that he could have gotten his hands on him and beaten him to death. Like that.
Yeah, the thing is, though, you're not thinking straight, because I was saying this because Rogan and I talked about this last week on the podcast, and I was saying to him then, I said, it might hurt him that there's guns involved, because they would say, well, you didn't need to take this route because you're a former UFC heavyweight champion of the world. You could have beat him up, but you chose to use a gun. Thing is, though, when you're that mad, when you hear about this and you own guns and you're legally allowed to have them and you've got one in your fucking hand, you damn sure better well guarantee I'm fucking using that, because there's nothing better for it. Why do I want to get my hands dirty? Harrington, you were going to say something. You chimed in for a reason. Go ahead.
Yeah, so looking here, the charge that he was released, with the $0 bail for is 1 count of a felony. It's like a felony lewd and lascivious act of a person under the age of 14. So that's 1 count. The minimum sentencing for that, if he is guilty, is only 2.5 years. So the police right now are asking families to come forward because they do believe there are over 100 counts of this, and they really want to throw the book at this guy, but they only have just cause for 1 case so far.
Yeah, well, I would think if he did it to 1 person and you're working at a daycare center, I hate to say it, but that's the perfect environment for a horrible, disgusting predator like that. They just has a non-stop flow of victims that he could abuse. So God knows how many times this piece of shit's been doing this.
This is exactly why I've never done the daycare thing. Like, people always, my friends are like, man, you brought your mother-in-law to live with you guys for 6 years. This is why. Because you don't ever fucking know. The world is a crazy place.
Your mother, you were going to put your mother in daycare?
No, yeah, right. No, I moved her in. I was like, I'm not putting my kids in daycare. My mother-in-law lived here with me for 6 years for that reason. I
have my in-laws here right now. They're floating about the house somewhere. Hopefully not for 6 years. as much as I love them, they're great. They're visiting from Malaysia. I think 2 months or so. 6 years, I think I'll go fucking live in Vegas.